Hello YouTube, my name is Johnny Bannon with Trepa Technologies, and today our video will go over passive interface EIGRP configuration. This is going to follow Trepa Technologies Confluence webpage on IT how-tos. So please click that link below and let's get started. So here we can see our Confluence how-to page. This will be the network diagram we will use for today's video. This network diagram is courtesy of IME, CCIE's Routing and Switching's network diagram video series. So please hit the link below if you want to watch IME's video series where I stole this network diagram. And in the IT world, there's nothing wrong with not reinventing the wheel, right? So I use IME's CCIE Routing and Switching Lab network diagram for most of my complex configuration. It's amazing. It has DMVPN, it has stub routing, and it has a NAT cloud that I attach to it so we can actually automate this using Ansible as well. So let's get back to configuration. So like all my videos, the first thing I'm going to do is bring up GNS3 and we'll get the lay of the land. For this video, we'll configure EIGRP passive interface on these two routers, router 8 and router 10. The first thing we got to do is go get a baseline for them. So like all my videos, we're going to do this from scratch. We're going to go to GitLab. We're going to clone with HTTPS. We're going to go to Visual Studio Code and do the git clone process. Please refer to my other videos if you are not sure how to do this. We're going to select a repo location, going to let it clone, and we're going to open in a new window. Awesome. So this is the repo I use for all my routing base configs for my CCIE practice labs. So this Ansible repo is a little bit more robust than I have shown in my previous how-to videos. Here, all my routers have a role assigned to them. And in that role, I have three main folders with one file in them, a main.yaml, a Jinja template, and another main.yaml. This is how I generate base configurations for all my routers. We won't worry about all the extra Ansible stuff today on this video. All we're worried about is getting the base config for R10 and the base config for R8. This base config is configured by running an Ansible playbook. Again, check out my other videos that will be uploaded to this channel to actually go over this entire Ansible repo. So let's console into router R8 and R10. Awesome. Here we go. So now let's put a base config. So these are already configured, but I'm going to pretend like they're not for the video. And we're going to put a good baseline configuration in there. So let's take a look at this baseline for a second. It's going to put all of our interfaces IP addresses. And then most importantly, it's going to run these applets. This applet right here is great in your studies. Why is that? Because this applet right here will clear out any routing you've configured. So when you're going through my video series or Jeremiah Char's video series or anyone's IT video series, they're jumping from EIGRP, OSPF, BGP, all these other routing protocols. You can type in baseline with this applet, and it's going to go in there and get rid of all routing. And you're going to have a clean start to your router with just IP addresses configured. That's it. It's amazing. You need to do this for your labs. Going to copy our 10s. We're going to paste it in there. Then we're going to hit baseline. As you can see, it had OSPF running, and now that process is killed. go to R8 and do the same thing. Let's go ahead and copy all this. Copy. Bring R8 back here. We'll go into global config mode. Paste all that goodness in there. Do right to save, of course. And now we type in our alias baseline, and it's going to go in and get rid of all routing. Awesome. So now we go back to our Confluence page as our guide, and we have put in the baseline. It's exactly what we wanted. So now everything I do will be from the CLI. I'm going to configure named EIGRP, and then I'm going to make all my interfaces passive interface. And then the ones that are actually advertising EIGRP routes, I won't make passive interface. Let's go back to GNS3. Look at our console sessions. And let's do some configuration. So you may be wondering, what is passive interface? You're going through it so fast, you're about to do configuration, but what is it? Passive interface suppresses EIGRP hello messages outgoing on an interface. So why would we do this? Because our router only needs to advertise to its neighbor routers. So put yourself in the perspective of the router, right? Do you need to send EIGRP hello messages to your LAN? No, of course you don't. So that's why we configure passive interface. So let's do some configuration. On R8, right here, we're going to configure first. And we're just going to do between R10 to R8, okay? So we go into global config mode. We'll do router EIGRP Johnny, my first name. We'll pick an address family. An autonomous system number, of course. And let's check to see what interfaces we're going to be advertising. So we can hit this with a /16 wildcard mask. And that'll hit all of our 155.1 subnets. And then our loopbacks. This loopback 0 is our management, and this loopback 8 will get advertised with this network statement. We got to advertise that loopback. And we'll just do this with another /16. Awesome. We'll do the same on router 10. Again, I'm using tab for a lot of this, tab completion. Let's actually check what we're advertising here. Should be the same. So network 155.1.0.0 with a /16 wildcard mask. Again, we'll do it for our management loop. Look at that. EIGRP so fast, coming right up. Great. Now in classic mode, we would do the passive interface under the EIGRP subconfiguration. But with here, we will do it under the subconfiguration, but we got to specify which interface is using the AF-interface command. So let's first see what we need to make passive and what we don't need to make passive. So if we look over here, we're just doing routing between router 8 and router 10. We do want router 10 to know about all of R8's connected and its neighbor. We want R8 to know about R10's connected addresses. So the only thing that needs to advertise EIGRP hello updates is this network right here. And those updates are getting sent across gig 00. So what's the easiest way here to make all other interfaces passive except gig 00? We do AF interface default, type in passive interface, exit, see our neighborship went down. And then we do AF interface gig 0/0, no passive interface. And boom, our neighbor's back up. Let's do this on router 10. We'll probably see our neighborship go down here. Well, we will, and we should. It'd be a problem if it didn't. And we'll go into gig 0/0 and do the same. No passive interface. Okay. So for those of you that are curious, like I am, I always want to see what's actually happening on the wire, right? What's actually getting transmitted when I type in passive interface. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come here. We're going to get back into our EIGRP sub-configuration. Actually, first, let's shut down gig 0/0. We're going to start a Wireshark capture on this link. We'll bring back the terminal up. We'll go back into gig 0/0 and we'll no shut. And let's look at the packet captures before and after we do passive interface on gig 0/0. Let's see what happens. So I'll bring Wireshark up. So we're just seeing our EIGRP neighborships form right here. We can see updates being sent via unicast. And we can also see hellos being sent via the EIGRP multicast. Perfect. And then we see other CDP messages going across the wire, our layer 2 stuff, our Ethernet frames. So this should be expected, right? We're getting hellos sent via unicast and multicast. And then we see updates being sent unicast, right? This is pretty standard. Now, let's get in to our router sub-configuration mode. We'll do this a little easier. We'll just copy paste all this. Excuse me. Paste right here. We'll get into gig 0/0 and we'll do passive interface. And let's see what happens. So now there's no hellos being sent from router 10. None. We just see hellos coming from router 8 that are not being replied to. No hellos are getting sent back from router 10. We can see this IP address is router 8's gig 0/0 IP, .8 right there. Just blast in our attempt of hellos in that multicast address. Let's go back here, type in no passive interface, and let's see the magic happen. All right, we're getting some hellos back and forth in that multicast address. Now we're sending updates via unicast. And this is what we need to see right here. So this is all passive interfaces right here. Just stopping or suppressing the hello messages. And we can actually see that on the wire. So again, guys, for everyone here at Trepa Technologies, I thank you for joining us on this video. And remember to study every single day. Thank you.